The origin story of the monster-in-law, the mother-in-law who is a witch, right? So if your mother, for example, does not like your wife, does not like your longtime girlfriend, your fiance, whatever label you have of that special woman in your life, have conversation. Have conversations, plural, with your mother because she could be right. A common thing that you hear is that, well, she's a narcissist or she is a helicopter parent, couldn't let go of her baby boy. Could be the case, that could be your mother, or it could be your mom is right. She sees things that you don't want to see about your significant partner, and it's toxicity. And she sees it because she cares about you, not about a competition, not about, you not being a grown up and she just can't let you go. Again, it can be, for example, the other things that maybe your friends see that they just don't want to talk to you about because it makes them uncomfortable. So, things that I see in relationships, unfortunately, with family members and friends, but I say something, is emasculation in public. This is a very common one. You've probably seen this. You might be sitting there thinking, this is why I got my divorce anyway. I'm on round two. Or maybe not. Maybe you're done with marriage, for example, done with long-term relationships. But an example is emasculation in public, right? For example, you're at a family gathering and then, the wife will sit there and roll her eyes at the husband because the husband is telling a story that you can tell she's heard countless times, but if she's toxic enough, she'll basically tell him to shut up. I've seen that happen. Basically, nobody wants to hear that stupid shit. Like that type of stuff. Like, whoa. And it gets real quiet, right? Other things that can be nonverbal, which can be even more powerful. Like when the husband's trying to say something and then she just walks away and it's just her just not wanting to hear it because it's just, she just thinks his words just don't really mean anything anyway. And you have to think, well, if he were to do that, right? And it's like, well, he would never. That's my point. There's plenty of men out there that are man babies, yes, that are toxic, yes. But these aren't the guys I'm talking about. I'm talking about the men out there that are handling business, that are being adults, that are taking care of their loved ones, their partners, their wives, their female partners. We're keeping this under heterosexual wraps, unfortunately, right? Get me canceled. But the point is that we're talking about men and women. And the idea that it's okay for your female partner to treat you like absolute crap, even though you're a good person that provides so much for her. And it's still not enough. And then your mother sees that and she says something, but then you can get gaslit even by society of that pressure of being a mama's boy. Yeah, you're a mama's boy because you're listening to your mother. What the hell is that? You're a grown man. Why would you not? And just like if she were to listen to her mother, right? Or it would be maybe you have a father that is really in your life and said something. So what's that all about, right? Would that be a daddy's boy? Maybe. But what I'm talking about is just having conversations with your mother to understand why she doesn't like the missus or the long-term girlfriend or the fiancé. Conversations to uncover if she's right or not. That's all. Because a mother's boy, a mama's boy, would be someone that once you have those hard conversations with your mom and you know she's not right. You know she's not right. Well, that's my mom, and that's mama's boy shit. Well, now I gotta tell my wife that, what? About things that you don't really believe, but your mommy told you? Have conversations, and then, for example, your wife is always making fun of you in public. I've seen this happen. So have you. And he might sit there and say, and I've heard this as an excuse, well, we like to joke around a lot. But she jokes around at your expense and you don't do that to her. Oh yeah. Yeah, and how does that make you feel? And this is like the therapy session. But how does that, now that you're starting to uncover that, most important, how does that make you feel? Because now it's more about, again, is it true? And you might be saying, okay, well, we do joke around a lot, but when she does it, it makes me feel bad. Oh shit. Yeah. And love is something else. Duty is something else. I mean, when we fall in love, we put blinders on, especially when we have that type of love where we feel duty, we put on blinders, and other people can uncover things, people that care about you. And the society comes in, oh, mother's boy, and oh, be a man. And again, being a man is having tough conversations and then uncovering some truths that you don't want to hear. That's being an adult, okay? A man. Hiding away because of, well, I don't want to have it where people think I'm a mama's boy, so I'm not going to listen to my mom. Just hear what she has to say. All I'm saying. And another tough conversation, if she's right, your mom is right, shit, okay, now I got to talk to, yeah, you got to talk to your wife about it. And don't throw your mother under the bus. Well, my mama said, it's like, no, you have to more, it's about how, again, your mother helped you uncover something, but start the conversation off with you, not your mama says, because then you're just taking it and you're throwing her under the bus, and most importantly, you're deflecting. Because if it's more about between, you're having a conversation, it's more about between your mom and your wife, for example, then they need to have conversations. If it's just more about, them not getting along because of a clash of personality. If it's really about what she's uncovering with you and your relationship, it's going to be a conversation that should focus on how you feel, for example, how you feel bad about, you joke around a lot, but she always takes it too far, right? Don't sit there and say, well, my mom said, because again, if it's like that, then it should be a conversation between you, because again, you know what I'm saying. So don't just deflect. Have that conversation, most importantly, conversations, and then if things don't get better and they get worse, they're going to get worse anyway. Because if it's that type of relationship, you go to her, and the thing is, and I like women for this. I'm gonna say it. It sounds like it's nagging, but when women have problems, they typically will tell you they have problems. And what do they expect you to do? Laugh it off? Hell no. So if she laughs it off, you should have that same reaction. You come to her with a problem with your relationship, that you have with her, and it's just like another joke, for example, then it's going to go downhill from there anyway. And this is the thing that men can be afraid of. Absolutely. You're transparent and it blows up in your face. But the thing is that you just uncover something that was just bad all around anyway. It was not good anyway, if it's going to be like that. But if it is a good relationship, then you're being transparent, then you should be able to go in a positive direction from that conversation or conversations. If it requires a therapist because you think that, well, this is kind of a tough conversation to have, I want to have a licensed therapist in the room, I agree. If it becomes where you can't get them to go and you can't have a good conversation, you can't get them to go to therapy, don't give ultimatums. I don't believe in ultimatums. I think that's even worse. But that then tells you that this relationship is not going to go anywhere positive anyway. So when it comes down to these conversations, these tough conversations that we don't want to have, that your mother can uncover or another family member or friend, I say at least it's worth a listening to. Why are they in your lives to begin with? Why have they met your girlfriend, your wife, right? So there's some type of importance they have to you anyway. The saddest thing that I do see with adults, and you see this as well, is how we still do want, for example, our friends' approvals, especially our parents' approvals and what we're doing, and we want it to be positive, right? But then when we hear from them and it's a criticism, and it's like, oh, well, I didn't want to have your opinion anyway. Well, you did. But now that it's not in your favor and you don't like it, well, you can't just tell them to go kick rocks until you listen to them and see if it's worthy. That's the whole point. But tell me what you think. Hopefully this helped you out, especially men out there that are in a tough bind. And again, don't get gaslit into thinking that you're a mama's boy because you listen to the mother that took care of you. And maybe she didn't. Maybe you're the type of son where you have a good heart, you're reconnecting. That's great, but why is she in your life if her words mean nothing, right? So if you have that relationship where it's more of you reconnected later on in life, but why? And it can't just be, well, her words still don't mean anything to me. Well, they should, because she's in your life for a reason, is my point. Just listen and have honest conversations from there. And if you need a licensed professional to help you, take it to a licensed professional. And do never, never give ultimatums, because that will never work in your favor. It'll just lead to resentment and implosion of your relationship. But let me know what you think. And please like and subscribe to this channel. This channel is built as a resource for men, as a safe place for men to talk, like conversations like this, and as a great resource for men's wellness. Have a good one.